Hey, everybody. How you doing, Leonard?
I'm great. Thank you.
Cool.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. So, adding soul to AI art with Lennart Östman. Thanks for being here, Leonard.
Yep.
We got some people coming in already. See Jeff Caldwell. I'm so excited. He says the countdown begins. 20 seconds. Counting every second. Yeah.
Count every second. Yeah.
So yeah, for those watching, welcome everybody. Let us know where you're watching from. And I was talking to Lennart. There's a new way that StreamYard schedules to Facebook, and I'm just checking my digital artist Andrew Kavanagh page, and it does look like the live that I went to promote this took over the live stream on that page. So hopefully anybody who registered for this event through my digital artist Andrew Kavanagh page will see the post I made this morning. Do watch it on my YouTube. So I got some Facebook user. So yeah, so that reminds me to let you know. So anyone who's watching from the Facebook groups, and it just says Facebook user, please give StreamYard permission to show your name and profile pic. So I will be able to credit you when you comment or ask questions. That's StreamYard.com/Facebook, right underneath the live. Click that, give permissions, jump on back. And that way it'll show your name and profile pic. And then we got Tommy Anderson from Sweden.
Oh, fellow Swede. Hello, Tommy.
Great. Brian Reed from Georgia. Cool. Another Facebook user. Hello. So yeah, give permission to Facebook and StreamYard. Do that. And so while people are coming in, let me give a little bit of a shout out to StreamYard. StreamYard, the multi-streaming app that makes it all possible. I stream to Facebook groups, my Facebook business page, Twitter, LinkedIn, and of course, YouTube. So StreamYard makes it all possible, makes it all easy. So here's a little shout out to StreamYard. Thank you. Thanks, StreamYard. Cool. And then we got people coming in. So let's see. Hello from Richmond, Nashville. So yeah, once again, please give StreamYard permission to show your name and profile pics, so I'll be able to credit you when you comment or ask questions if you're watching from Facebook. That's the link underneath the live, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Give that a click. And once again, welcome everybody. Let us know where you're watching from. Give it a little bit more time and let Lennart take it away.
Yeah. Okay. You want me to present myself now?
Soon. Let's see. And someone from Clear Water, Watech Beach or Water Beach? Not sure.
That's the States too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get quite the range of people. International crowd. Nicole from Michigan, Chicago. Yeah, it's Clearwater Beach, right? And we got Summer Borelli from, I believe that's Maryland, right? Great. Mm-hmm. Cool. So more and more people are coming in. So Lennart, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Lennart Östman. I'm from a small town in Sweden called Härnösand. I'm a composer, photographer, and digital artist since a lot of years. Well over 40 years, I think. And I'm really, music is my main creative stream, but photography and fractals has been very important to me. And I'm involved in several apps as a beta tester. The first one that I got involved in was Fractal Architect, made by Steve Broadhead from the United States. It's a very good fractal app that I use, and I frequently use the output from that app as input in the AI images.
Right.
And I'm also involved in a music app using AI called UCompose, made by a Dutch developer.
Right.
And I've been doing photography for a long time. Started with a really really crappy digital cameras, like using floppy disks instead of memory cards and stuff like that. So I always been working with cheap equipment and trying to find a way to make the output from them good. So I have been forced to take a lot of different roads to get around the limitations, and that is something that I have a lot of use for now when working with AI too, because it has forced me to think out of the box. And well, yeah, that's about it.
Great. So shall I share your slides? Yeah.
You can share my slides. Yes, you can
Okay.
take that now.
Cool. So
So these are some of the AI images that I have made, and like all of us who are involved in AI, it's really a very young business. So we started with all this Trump with green hair and another celebrity as Superman, and we moved on. And I've seen a lot of development in the quality of the images that we see in different social platforms. So it's moving quickly, very quickly. This is started with trying to make a statue, and a marble statue, and it was really the first image that I made that I was really happy with, and thought was like this is really good. And all these are made in Stable Diffusion, and it's not a lot to say about them actually, but this is just a little example of the work I do. As time has moved on, I have found that I have a real love for forests, fairy tales, forests, and fantasy forests, and I often come back to that theme just because I think they are fun and beautiful. And this AI stuff really lends itself to surrealistic images, I think, and that's something that I'm also really interested in, to find something that is more than the ordinary. This is an image that I have gone beyond the 512 times 512 format. I think I made this with 120 times 100 and no 1020 1200 and times 1500, and you get these repeating shapes here, and that's a thing that doesn't look as good when you make portraits, but if you make fantasy and landscapes, it's quite all right. You get really interesting results.
Yeah, I've always wondered why the original dimensions they chose are so low.
Yeah,
because then the quality, crazy. Like if you wanted to use it as an element for like a photo composite, it's pretty low if your template is larger.
DALL-E has 1024 times 1024, so those images are a little bit bigger, but that's not much either.
Sure,
it's nothing. You can't use this stuff in print if you don't enlarge it and and that will in turn change it. And
Yeah, I mean,
the 512 sets the limit for the level of detail that you can get.
yep, cool.
This
Nice.
is a photo I shot in Stockholm that I used as a start image in Deforum Stable Diffusion collab, and I just added some water and worked on the buildings. So the original building looked quite different.
I think by doing that, by adding your own photos to start and then building from there, gives them a much more kind of realistic feel to it, and also a sense of depth.
Yeah, it does. And
Nice.
this is also, all of these are made from start images. The title of this live stream is adding soul to AI art, and it has. You always see this question about, is this really art? Will all the artists be replaced and stuff like that? So I thought it would be interesting to talk a little bit about that. As I see it, the AI is a tool, like a brush. And if you take a brush and you apply paint with it to a canvas, that doesn't necessarily automatically become art. If it did, applying that brush to a fence would also be art, but it's not. It's painting the fence. And that's a very good thing to do. There are fences that need painting. So everything we do don't have to be art. But just because you use a tool doesn't mean it's art. It can be fun. It can be very satisfying to use. But I wouldn't say that it's art. Not quite yet.
Right. And I would say with your work, I see a lot of this work, and a lot of it has a similarity, and maybe they're using similar prompts, and generating from the same AI app. But because of the fact that you are bringing in some of your own original photos or elements, and
Yes.
then building upon it, it has much more of a distinctive feel. And
Yes.
I really like the surreal, fantasy type images that you create. Yeah. And Nicole says she likes that analogy a lot, and using a tool doesn't make it art.
No. And yes, about this adding soul to art. If you define what soul is, for me, it's your will, your emotions, and your thoughts. And when you do AI art, you have a bit of that already because you're writing prompts. But for me, that doesn't feel, I don't feel that is enough. I think I need something more. And when you apply paint with a brush, you paint on a canvas, there are a lot of parameters that you're using there. You're using velocity, you're using pressure, you're using color. What color do you use? And the angle of the brush, and there are a lot of parameters. And as I see it, it's those parameters that allows me to express my soul, my will, and my thoughts into the art. There has always been an element of chance in art, and there have been artists that put up a canvas and throw paint at it. And the art there is to decide which one of these splashed canvases do I like and which one don't I like. So this is the art of selection there. And that's something different than if you really paint something photorealistic or fantasy, and you decide everything, where everything goes. And in AI art, as in fractals, you have an element of this choosing what's chance has given you. But don't think you can ever get away from that with AI art, because you really don't know what will happen when you render it. And the need for a soul in AI art, I think that is most obvious when it comes to photorealistic portraits. When you see a portrait, a photo, what do you think about that? What's going through your mind then, Andrew? When you see a good portrait photograph?
Just having some water caught me.
All right. Got it too.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for the personality of the person that you're taking a photo of. So
Yeah,
that's why I would imagine if you started with a photo and then brought it into AI art apps, you might get a kind of more charismatic representation of the person. Whereas if you just did a prompt and it created a kind of general portrait, it might feel impersonal.
yeah.
So
When I see a good portrait photograph, what goes through my mind is I start to asking questions. Who is this person? Where does he or she work? How would it be to be a co-worker with this person? What are their dreams? And stuff like that. And with AI portraits, that's just off the table, because this person does not exist. It doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have dreams. It doesn't have anything of that. So that makes it, I think, very obvious what it is.
sure.
So I think I look at it like this. If every time I use some app, some technique, some everything from Photoshop plugins, early Photoshop plugins, or whatever it was, I was always been trying to abuse them, use them in ways they are not meant to be used, because I want to find something that is special with that particular plugin or that app or whatever I use. And I think using AI, I think for me it's important to use it in the fields that AI is really good. AI is great for doing sci-fi images, fantasy images, and painterly images. It's not so interesting to do a photorealistic view of a city or a landscape, because like with the portraits, they are not real. I can't look at this beautiful landscape and think, wow, I wonder where that is. I would like to go there. If I know that it's a fantasy, that's kind of a different thing, because you can look at fantasy things and your imagination can take off. But I want it to be obvious that this is fantasy. This is not real. I think that is what the AI or the AIs do best.
Sure. Do you have more images to show? I love your work. So yeah.
Yes. Should we get going maybe and try
Is that it for the slides then, or?
I think have we been watching all the slides? No, we have more slides.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, great.
This is a little yarn monster.
Sweet.
And the start image for this was obviously a heap of yarn balls. This is made from the same start image. And this is made from yarns balls too. It was an ad I made some years ago that I arranged to get this white and red. I think this is the last one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
nice.
the last one.
And let me see. Maybe I'll navigate to get to it too. So for something like this, did you
Yeah.
have an illustration first that you brought in, or is this purely prompts, or how did you get to this finish?
I don't remember the prompt for this. I know that I had some artist names in. It's a common, as you know, common method to use artist names to draw the
style
image in a certain style, a certain way. And I've got to check what's her name.
So
It's an
bottom line,
American
though.
artist, I don't know.
So yeah, so bottom line, it seems like you jump from a range of sometimes doing purely prompts and then stylization with the prompts referring to a specific artist, and other times you start with your own start image and then add your prompts to change the elements. So you jump around, do different kind of styles.
Yeah, I do just both. I have a set of artists that I have found that this mix of artists give me a
certain look,
style of the images that I like. So I often use them. And another thing that has been said about AI is that it infringes the copyrights of artists because of their art being in the dataset, or that you use their names. Did you see what's his name? That Polish artist, Rutkowski.
What was it though?
Rutkowski. He's been very commonly used. Greg Rutkowski. He's been very commonly used in AI art because he has a very fantasy-like and detailed style. And many of these collabs and apps have had his name as default in the prompt. There's always a default prompt, so you just can press render and you get an image. And his name has often been there. And I read an interview with him. He was slightly miffed about that, actually, because he could no longer go out on Google and Google his name to see what artwork he had out there, because he found a lot of artworks that he didn't make, but that had his name. Yeah. And I can understand that. That is pretty annoying.
Yeah, with the whole no copyright issue, it's going to kind of create a mess for certain established artists, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yes, but interesting thing, I went to his Twitter account, and there he had posted artworks, and beside the artwork, he had posted his sketch for that artwork. So you can see where he began in the sketch and how the finished artwork looked. So I downloaded one of his sketches and used as a start image.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. The interesting thing that however I did it, I could never bring that image above his sketch. It never became better.
Wow, interesting.
And if you look at his finished images, the details that he have on the guys in the background standing there with a sword or whatever it is, and you can zoom in and you can see everything in their faces. You can see their expressions, you can see the hands. Wouldn't you know they have actually 5 fingers. It was a long time since I saw an AI image with the 5 fingers. They're usually 7 or something. And an extra arm.
Well,
but he had that sketch, and then he made it better.
Sure.
Adding detail. And you can never do that with AI.
Right.
You can't. The AI focuses on what's in front of. If you make a portrait, you close like this, then it can concentrate on your eyes and stuff like that. But if you are in background, you're just a blob.
Sure.
And I guess that the algorithms will develop, but
right. So we have a good question. So we have a good question from Heinrich,
Yeah.
friend Heinrich. So what would be the prompts for some of those? Are there specific keywords that make it more sci-fi or painterly?
If it's painterly, that's has a lot to do with what artists' names you use. You can use if you want something that looks like digital art, you can use Unreal Engine or some other render engine, and trending at ArtStation, that is a classic. But I don't use those anymore.
Right. And so to make
I
it
use
more
different artist names to give
That's what I was-
the image a certain direction.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the most fun things with this AI stuff is that it have made me look at artists. I have learned a lot about a lot of artists that I didn't know about before, because I wanted to find out what do they do.
Sure.
And I have found different art styles that I didn't know existed that I like very much. So I started with doing prompt tests with different artist names, and to see what artists gave what results. Then I started putting several artists together and change things. So
nice.
If you want to do it good, you have to go in and study.
Right. So shall you share your screen? You want to click on the tab and then we'll jump right in and start doing some prompts?
Yes, let me just get to the right place first. All right.
Ready?
Let's
okay.
see.
Yep. I'll see you in the Deforum Stable Diffusion.
Yes, and Stable Diffusion is a collab, and they can look very daunting when you see them, because there are a lot of things here that
A lot of
looks
coding.
very much like programming stuff, but it's not that hard actually. So what I do, I go to runtime and run all, and then I just sit back and wait. And when I see that the default images from the default prompts have turned up, I know that I'm ready to use it.
Okay, so that's kind of like refreshing the page.
Yeah, well, it's all of this stuff always have a default prompt. So the default prompt here is a beautiful forest by Asher Brown Durand, trending on ArtStation, and a beautiful portrait of a woman by Artgerm, trending on ArtStation. So you get two images here because there are two prompts. The first thing I do is always comment out the second prompt. It's easier to just work with one prompt, I think.
Sure.
And to use this also, you have the hardest thing when you start using Colab is that you have to download the weights from Hugging Face and put it on your Google
Download
Drive.
the what? Download the what?
The weights. It's a data file that the AI need to make the images. And it's rather large. I think it's 3.5 gig. And but when you have downloaded it and put it on your Google Drive, you're good to go. Great. And you can use the same weights next time. So you only have to do that once. So what we have to worry when we make images here is the prompt. This is here.
So just highlight that. Yeah.
And then you have the settings here. And then the images turn out. So if I use a prompt now, let's see if we use, I have, of course, prepared a prompt, so I don't have to make them up from start. Right. A huge white-spotted jellyfish floating in mid-air over a futuristic landscape. Fractal trees, flowers, lily-inspired design, cinematic light, dramatic light. I always use those. And by James C. Christensen, Mark Ryden, Louis
Different
and
artists.
Putin, and John Bauer and Ambrosius Benson. And these are artists from different eras and with different styles. And when you use them together like this, you get not a straight mix, because it depends on what you are trying to make. I have John Bauer here. He painted the fairy tale forests and trolls. If I have something like a huge white spotted jellyfish, that artist's name won't make that much different, because that was not what he was painting.
Right.
But it will make some difference, because the kind of colors and stuff and textures that he used will be there somewhere. So this will result in an image that will look nothing like any of these artists
Let's see it.
would
Let's
make.
see it. Let's see it. I'm all excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes makes you a poet to a degree, if the way you have to describe it at first. I mean, naming the artist doesn't add to it as such as poetry, but the first part, maybe you could even write some good poems out of it, right?
Yeah, you could try using poems like a prompt. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I have never tried it actually. But now we have the prompt there. Sorry. So I have to run this cell again. No,
Okay.
I get the green check mark. And here I have the dimensions. We stick with the 512 and 50 steps and scale, CFG scale 7. That's a good place to start. And we don't do so much more. I changed this is the folder on my Google Drive. The default is Stable Fun, but I have my own set of folders there. So I think I'm at level 3 now. You get a folder for every month, and then I can reset the count.
Sure.
We have no init images. Init images, that's the start images. And let's run this and see what we get.
Great.
I usually change to 2 images, because you see better what you will get.
So there's the progress bar.
Yes, the progress bar is rather fast, as you can see.
Now, for this one, the Deforum Stable Diffusion through Google, do you have to pay a monthly fee to use it or anything, or
no,
a certain amount of time, or no?
No, you can do that if you want to go pro on this, and you get faster GPUs and longer time that you can use it. But when you're working, sooner or later you run out of GPU time, and then you have to come back the next day to use more. But
there's a certain limit.
Yeah, that's a certain limit, but it's rather generous. So this is the result of the prompts without start image.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah, this one is rather nice. And a good thing with this is when you're working, these images are automatically saved to your Google Drive, so you don't have to choose which one to keep at this stage. You just come up with crazy ideas and try things.
Sure.
So let's try and add.
Okay, we have a quick question here.
Yeah.
Someone on Facebook says, am I to understand that AI placed all of the artists together as a matter of its own working? I think it's clear that you put down the name of the artist for it
yes,
to utilize that style, right?
Yes. And if you look at any one of these artists, if you just use one artist name, the result you will get from that is nothing close to what that artist actually makes. One of my favorites is Daniel Merriam, and his stuff is absolutely fantastic. But if I use his name in an AI art, image, the result I will get is nothing close.
Interesting.
I mean, he has so much detail, so much fantasy, and like every real artist working with a physical medium,
so
you
that
get.
so that brings up the
Yes.
question that someone could not put in a prompt that describes an image that a specific artist has done and then put that artist's name in it to try to generate an image just like the artist, as if they wanted to copy them. It would always be a bit
No,
different, right?
they can come somewhere in that direction, but they will not get very close. Because like Greg Rutkowski, I told you, he had these faces and details in the image. All the artists working in traditional medias does that, but the AI do not have the ability to do that. And even if it could, I mean, we are still talking about 512 pixels,
Sure.
and that's really not very much.
So with your start images here,
Yeah,
just zoom in a little bit.
let's try something.
Are these images that you've created, or are these AI previous images that you're then going to put through AI?
Some
again?
of them are previous image. This is a previous image,
Right. Okay.
and I didn't like it very much because of the nose on this guy.
It got flat.
It's very
right?
flat.
Yeah.
He's run into a wall. This is a photo shot I took on my lunch break. These two.
Nice.
This is an AI image. I will show you a bit about that if we get the time to get into masks.
Nice.
This is an old photo of Sarah Bernard,
Yeah. Right.
a French actress. So I use some old images. You can find like old images like this on Flickr, because many public libraries have collections of old images there that you can use for free.
Right.
And that can be very interesting. Or some I have drawn myself. This fantastically creative artwork is drawn by me. You can see clearly that I have no idea what I'm doing with the brush.
Still has a nice feel to it, though.
Yeah. This is a fractal. And this is the yarn that
cool.
I made the monsters of. So if we choose something now, let's take this one.
Right.
Bad image, good colors, with the flat nose. And we upload it. And we copy it here. And now the fun begins. And we say use image.
And
start image.
I see that you're using the Safari browser. Is that better with the Deforum Stable Diffusion?
I like Safari better than I like Chrome, actually. But you can use it in Chrome or any other. Yeah, I often use it from my iPad. That works too.
Good.
So now we have copied the address to this image, and we got it there. And here we have an important parameter. It's the strength of the init image. I usually start
so strength means the strength of how much will be influenced in the.
Yes. If you put 1 there, you will get just the start image, and if we put like 0.3, we'll get something in the middle. Let's try this and see what we get.
But don't you have to put a new prompt in too?
No, we use the same prompt
to
see what image we get.
So see what it.
And then I try it out with different start images and with different weights, and we can get very different results.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, this is where fun begins.
Yes,
you got this jellyfish there.
Yeah. So the one thing I think that AI is really good for too is kind kind of like a thought board where you could try out different prompts, generate images, and then you could either create them on your own with or photo compositing, or if you're a photographer, it could give like different lighting and posing and setup ideas that you could then make a series of from. Yeah.
Yes. If you look at these, you can see that the start image affects the generated image very much.
Texture, yeah.
It will be hard to prompt this actually, but with a start image, you can get very interesting results.
It adds like the texture elements, right?
Yeah, it does. And colors. You see, we have the same color that
Green,
in that flat-nosed dude we had. If we lower the weight here to 1, the prompt will have more to say about how the image will look. So let's try this. Okay. Sorry. So when I make my images, it's a long process, really. You start up with rendering a lot of crap, and then it puts a frame
you
on.
Give a little frame on it, yeah.
Yeah, but that's rather annoying because you never get the whole frame. There's no frame down here.
That's right.
Have
to do a little Photoshop.
I start with this was rather cool. It's at a tree. What is it? What is it? Something
strange tree with jellyfish floating around.
It looks like we could actually change the aspect ratio here. Let's make it higher than 512. Let's make it 7.4. Right again. The aspect ratio you have can greatly influence the image too, because if the AI gets more room vertically, it will compose the images differently. But I usually start like this, and I try different start images. Oh,
here it added a figure.
It added a figure,
and an
island, dancing elf. Interesting. I like this little jellyfish flower. What is it's spotted.
They even added a figure again. That's even more fun with the. That's
kind
of like telling a story.
As you can see, it's not much of a face. It's that face would need some attention in post edit later. And sometimes I go in and change the faces in on my iPad. I always do my image editing on my iPad, and I use for stuff like this. I can use Procreate, or I use your work with Affinity Photo and Snapseed and Max Curve
or Photoshop. Yeah, and then I would say that. So one thing I think they'll probably do in the future is they'll make it so that people will be represented in a bit more realistic, less distorted way.
Yeah.
As well as the size itself of the images can be bigger so that they could be, used with other art or printed even.
I think that maybe that will come by using Outpaint, that you have a picture frame that you can move, and you expand the images in different direction to get a bigger image. But that's usually not very just as coherent. That's making the image in just one frame.
Right. Now, how long has AI apps been out now? Is it a few months? Has it been out? I mean, technically, I think they've been out for many years, but haven't been accessible to the public. Publicly, how long?
They have been working on it for a long time, I would say. But
publicly, how long would you say AI apps have been?
It's just sometimes this summer that Stable AI went public with their Stable Diffusion and made it open source. And now that has exploded, and it's all over the place.
And that was when?
sometimes it's summer. I don't remember when. It's not very long ago.
Right.
DALL-E was first with their demo, but they are just now coming out of the demo mode, so everyone can use it.
Sure.
Uh,
So
let's
we're kind of
try
getting
another
into
one.
time a bit. Did you want to either show us a different AI app that you use, or did you want to use one of my
I
art
think
images?
I think we stay with Deforum here,
Okay.
because that
What
is
about opening one of my images to use?
yes, we should try that too. Yes, we have two that I have
That'd be interesting.
downloaded, and let's try this with the fractal elephant first, and then we go to that. What we did now, we used this image. It's an AI image, and I like the colors in this one, and I like the structures here.
Yeah, it's nice, that patterns.
Yeah, let's see what I can do with this jellyfish business. We go up to 0.3 again.
Okay, generate.
If I work an hour or an hour and a half with this, I maybe get one to really good series of images, because when you experiment like this and you find suddenly you find something that, wow, this is really good, and you start to cultivating that, and you change the prompt and you try different weights and you try different start images.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you can see some of the textures from the elephant here, I think. Yeah,
nice.
right. If we go up, let's say we make
Reminds
it
me of some of the
4.
paintings, kind of science fiction or surreal paintings of like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
It has that kind of feel to it too.
Yes, it does.
Did you ever see the movie Fantastic Planet, the French animation?
No, I don't think I've seen that
Oh,
one.
you'd love it.
Yeah.
It's just like this, but animated world. It's
Yeah.
sound and animation. Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit. Salvador Dali made an animation with Walt Disney.
Really funny.
Yeah,
That's a funny combination, right?
It's a funny combination, but it's a marvelous animation, really.
Nice.
You see, you get a very different result here, just because you had another.
Sure.
Yeah.
So why don't you upload one of my images and put in a totally different prompt? I'm curious to see what happens when you do that.
Yes, let's try that. Let's see. Did I put them here? Oh, I still have them in my Photos app.
I like the way you organize your favorites. So it looks like you have you'll have one folder that says photo, and then underneath it'll be a bunch of photo related things, and then another might be illustrations or something. But
yeah,
that's a nice way to organize. Might have to.
Here they are. This is yours.
Yep, that's one of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's try that.
So you just grab the name, or you upload it?
I do like this. I can just drag it, and I drag it over here.
Oh, so you drag it to the bottom left corner.
Oh, I missed it. I have to do that again.
So you drag it to the bottom left corner, right?
Yeah. Drop files or upload to session storage.
That's pretty easy.
Didn't upload it. Why didn't it do that? Let's try it again.
It's funny. It's just like uploading the text file or something. Here we go. So someone else is a fan of that movie. So they're saying Fantastic Planet, French, as well as Czechoslovakian, maybe illustrators. The Wild Planet was maybe the Czechoslovakian version. 1973 experimental adult animated science fiction film directed by René Laloux. I think that's how you say it. Written by Laloux and Topor, who most completed films productions. Yeah, someone's a fan. That was a great. Yeah, you should check that out. It's quite good.
Yeah, I will look if I can find it somewhere. Is it on YouTube? Do you know that?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's on YouTube or might be on like if you have Amazon or HBO or something. I would try just various sources. Yeah.
There's your image. Now we get it. Maybe I should change the prompt for this one. What do you think?
That's what I was saying too. Yeah, not only add the image but change the prompt altogether too.
Yes.
Keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. So, what do we think about this? What kind of prompt? A landscape or a city? Do you have some kind of buildings here?
Yeah, maybe urban environment, and then you could add some prompts with the different artist names too.
Yes, let's try that. Right, we go back here and we take a look at this. Let's keep this section, because this cinematic light and dramatic light, that's for giving it's a bit of life, in the lights. And
Sure.
This set of artists, they work with a lot of things. The artists aren't really the most important stuff when you work with start images. So let's make it like this. A futuristic cityscape. What do we want there?
Yeah,
Do
that
we
sounds
want
good.
trees? Maybe flowers?
Maybe nighttime or something.
Nighttime. Yes. Right. Let's try that. I usually have rather simple prompts, and I have this standard.
Right. I guess if you have too many words,
dramatic light, and a bunch of artists that I use.
too many words would kind of confuse the whole focus.
Yeah, I think it does. But let's make this a landscape orientation also. We want this to be 512, right? And what weight do we have? 4. I think it's a bit much. Let's try 3. Let me see what we will get. AI art is really all about experimentation for me.
Nice. And Lennart, someone on Facebook did say that Fantastic Planet is on YouTube. So
it is. All right. All right. Do you recognize your image?
No, but I like the coloring and I like the mix of the blue and the kind of moodiness with the orange.
That's from
warmth.
your image. The colors is the first thing that start image that the AI picks up from the start image. We have a lot of mysterious persons here standing around talking or something.
Yeah, it very much reminds me of like a Max Ernst painting or something.
Yeah,
surrealist.
All right, that's rather interesting. So where do we go with the strings here? Do we up or down? What do you think? More like the image or less than
more like my original image? I'm curious to see how they'll mingle.
Yeah, let's try 5 then. We go 2 steps up.
So the higher the number, the more it's like the original image?
Yes. And that is for Deforum Stable Diffusion. If you go to another
it might be opposite, right?
Provider of Stable Diffusion, the polarity of the strings control might be the other way. So you have to experiment a bit there.
Quite surreal with the face, that big face in the middle, yeah.
Now we start to
it really kind of
the resemblance with your image.
It really captured the color tone that I was
Yes,
going
it
for.
does.
I like, yeah.
And that's one of the best things, because the colors can give a completely different feel to an image.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Sorry.
Very nice. Yeah, looks good.
So if should we change the prompt? One thing that I think is very interesting is to make something that kind of goes against the grains, if I put it like that. If I
Sure.
have a landscape start image, if I make a landscape, it will be a landscape using the colors and some of the textures and some stuff like that. But if I do something completely different, if I make a portrait, it could be really interesting. So let's make a portrait.
You might have to put space between A and portrait. Yeah.
Yes,
There we go.
fast there. If we make a portrait of a woman, this doesn't have any filter, so it will probably be over sexualized. So let's make it of a man wearing what?
Do you need to put a comma after portrait, or you leave it open? A portrait.
I leave it open there. What should he be wearing? A robe, maybe, right?
Sure.
And we still have, I have to run the cell. We still have the 0.5 there. Let's start with that, see what we get.
Yeah, it's probably still landscape focused.
It's still landscape. Yeah, maybe we should flip that so it's portrait mode. Let's see what we get here first.
Took the colors a lot.
Yeah.
Created a whole new person though. Yeah.
But when it's in landscape mode, you still get very much of your central piece here with in your image. Let's try to flip it.
Sure.
And make it 512. And this 7.4, that's the aspect ratio that I think looks best, but you can have other aspect ratios. Right?
That's fun.
Yeah, that's different.
I like the blue face too.
Yeah, easy to face. It's just
it's a bit distorted, of course, but it's
mashed potatoes or something.
Blue mashed potato face.
Yeah, it's the revenge of the blue meanies.
The second one's interesting too, but yeah. I could see how these generate like that, and then you just got to go back and put a new face on it, and
yes,
Affinity Photo or Photoshop. Or
some of the faces that you get, and especially the hands, they are beyond saving. Let's make it less like the initial image. Let's see if we can get something interesting with the same colors.
Sure. And then
if you're handy with a brush or painting or drawing, you have all the possibilities to go in an image like this and fix the faces. What is that?
It's like a snake hand.
It's snake finger.
Snake hand.
It's snake finger. It's the AI is really good on fabric actually. Oh, this looks something like
that's pretty good. Well done.
Is that Hamlet and his father's ghost?
It's kind of detailed though. Good portrait.
Yeah.
No, I think you already know about this, but one thing I would share with the viewers is, if you see an image that you like in general, AI art, and you have no idea what to do in terms of the prompts, there is lexica.art. So lexica.art is a great site to search for a subject, and then when you see something that you like, you can click on it and you can literally copy the prompt and use that as a starting point for your own AI
Yeah,
art.
it's a good way to learn about prompts and how they work.
Yep.
Actually, I added close up here
Wow.
to get something a little bit closer, and you got an extra head here. That's spooky.
See, but one thing, if
Should we
you were
take
like
a look at this lexica?
I was going to say though, if you were like a traditional painter, you could use this as a way to break out of any creative rut you're in, because it would give you so many different ideas that you could then utilize to then bring to fruition.
Yes. This looks like something from Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah.
But you can see when you have close up here, you get a much better face, but it still
Yeah.
needs fixing. Those eyes are not good. So
Yeah, they're a little weird.
they need fixing. But I like the textures here on his.
Very intricate. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite the wrinkles on his robe too.
Yeah. It's very good at fabric, actually.
Yeah.
Should we take a look at Lexica?
Sure. So,
So let's do this.
yeah, jump over to that tab and then I'll switch the
Yeah.
view.
I have my graphic stuff here.
And
AI art.
Heinrich says those could also be good starting points for photo shoot ideas. Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And you're at Lexica now?
Yeah, there is Lexica.
Okay. So it looks just like
Take
a
some
regular
time
search
loading.
engine. And then you put in a theme.
And you can see the prompts on all this, and you can click on them, and you can get a whole prompt.
Yeah.
And you can copy part of it or all of it.
Yeah, you just hit the copy prompt in the bottom left. That's nice.
Yes. Oh, where did it go? I lost it. Well, never mind. Let's get something. What do you want? What do we want to see? We can try one of these prompts and see what result we get. I think maybe we don't have so much time left to do much more than that. But what do we want to see?
How about a caveman floating in space?
Caveman
Floating in
floating
space.
in space.
$2,000.
Yeah, someone has already thought about that.
A lot of them are very astronaut focused, though. They don't really have the caveman aspect so much, but they're pretty
No.
creative, though. There's some good
Yeah.
creative.
This could be a.
There's even like
caveman
black
name.
and white versions,
But this is a little interesting. Let's look at this. A guy with a helmet explores a cave with pictures on the walls. Expressive oil painting, digital art by
Yeah.
Dan Mumford. Greg Rutkowski, always Greg Rutkowski. I feel kind of sorry for that guy, actually.
So yeah, so the point is by going to this lexica.art, not only can you understand how to utilize better prompts, but you can also get a good range of artist names that you could copy and paste into like a notes app
Yes.
and use for a certain style. So you could
Absolutely.
say Greg Rutkowski, and then in your notes you could state what kind of style.
These are my artist studies.
Oh,
I have a lot of them here.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. To see, oh, this artist has this style. This is one of my favorites. Giuseppe Archimboldo, a 14th century guy, and he made absolutely stunning stuff.
I remember his work. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to Deforum Diffusion now and use that prompt.
Nice.
We need to. We want to remove that, not the quotation marks.
Right.
We need them. This, and we put in that prompt that we copied. And we still have your image there as
original
a start
image, yeah.
image.
This should be
That
fun.
could be interesting. Okay. And we have not portrait mode for that, I think. We flip the aspect ratio like that. Right, let's try it.
Click generate.
I don't think we will get anything that looks like the one image that we took the prompt from, but that remains to be seen.
Nice.
This is what we get.
Yeah, I like the blue and the gold.
Yes. I often, when I'm experimenting, I render two images because one image could be just luck or bad luck. But if you have two images, you see more clearly what the prompt does.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so to clarify, this is Stable Diffusion.
This is Stable Diffusion, yeah. And
Nice.
Stable Diffusion is available in many places. It's available in Night Cafe, in Deep Dream Generator now, and in a lot of different places. And of course, Dream Studio, that is Stable AI's own platform. But the what's different from between many of these platforms is how they charge you. This is free. Deforum Stable Diffusion and all collabs are free, but you have a limit on how many images you can do before.
Right. And you have to have some type of understanding of coding a little bit, or
No, you don't have to have any coding experience, because all you do is
so how do you get comfortable with
run
the
all.
way how do you get
And
comfortable with the way to add information to this whole group? Is there like an intro video or some way that you
there
can
are many videos how to use the collabs. You can search the YouTube and you
YouTube,
can
yeah.
find many of them. Ford, Deforum Stable Diffusion, and others.
Great.
It's not as hard as it looks, because the UI on this is
Right.
a catastrophe. But you can get very interesting results, and when you get it going, and it's really
Yeah,
not
nice.
hard. Well, I could go another hour, but I think people will fall asleep. What do you say?
Yeah, so
Is it time to
let us know what questions people might have. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you stop my screen sharing, I will go back to
Regular view.
regular view.
And so once
You
again,
ready?
just want to remind people that you can go to that lexica.art for the prompts and understanding of the prompts and finding out some names of different artist styles you like. So, and then we got some comments here.
There are a lot of interesting and useful links. Maybe I could send you some links. And
there's some of them, a list of stable diffusion
on
systems.
YouTube or something.
Yeah, list of stable diffusions by Pekka. You can't click on the link here, but
yeah, that's a good one too.
And then, so great stuff, and it's really interesting to see. I really like the fact that you do bring in your own artwork or other AI art to then regenerate it again.
It's so much more fun. I mean, I always have my phone with me, and I'm always shooting stuff.
Sure.
Leaves, little caterpillars that you find me crawling on the ground suddenly because I have found something that I want to shoot. And my kids, they get annoyed with me because I always shoot stuff.
You're always in photo mode.
Yeah, I'm always in photo mode. And I can use all those photos and use them as start images. And that's my way to put my soul into the AI art that I do.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think it's a very good. You have seen, it's a very efficient way. It's just as strong as a good prompt.
Yep. And great stuff. Very creative. And just to remind everyone that yes, the recording to this will be posted to the various groups, and you can watch it on YouTube. That's where the main recording is. But you can find Lennart on Spotify, and look for that link wherever the event page is or the recording is.
Just search for my name or your favorites, the music streaming service. You will probably find me there.
That's right, Leonard. And then also Lennart on YouTube. So bit.ly/3UWRYQH.
Well, search for my name there too.
Yeah.
Also the easiest way.
And and thanks everyone for watching. So a reminder to subscribe for digital art, Photoshop, and photography focused live streams and tutorials on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/digitalartdrew. So yeah, look for Digital Art Drew on YouTube. And don't forget to join the Digital Art Group. I should have changed it to Digital Art and AI Art Group now, as well as the Photoshop and Lightroom Group. So facebook.com/groups, Photoshop, Lightroom Group, or just do a search. So yeah, thanks so much everybody for attending. Thanks so much, Lennart. Really cool.
Thanks for having me here. And just remember, always have fun.
That's right. Always have fun.
Always has fun. That's the key to good art.
That's right. And since he's pointing, just a reminder that to always look in the Facebook groups for the top pinned post.
Oh, yes, that's what I meant.
Did little shorts about that today. The top pinned post. That's where the links are for the live events, contest, news, updates, any special things to focus on. So, yeah. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And thanks so much, Lennart. Really great.
Thank you.